136 here on the TKO show with Kara Rowe, and we are starting a new series every Wednesday at this time. You can mark it in your calendar. It is the MindPower Mastery series. We've had him on a couple times before. I actually had invited Jimmy Graham for my first mental muscle segment. It was on my very first show. I wanted you to be a part of it, and since then I've had you a couple times, and it's been fantastic. So we thought every week, let's get back into this mind power mastery and that mentality of introducing people to that other element. The stuff that we don't talk about enough sometimes in society. We think of like the prescription drugs and they get rich quick and this and this. It's like, let's go back to the brain. Let's go back inside ourselves, and we can start creating new successes in life, whether we're talking about life, health, wealth, relationships, spirituality. We've talked about sleep. We've talked about losing weight. So many different aspects. So Jimmy Graham here, mindset success coach. We will have him again every Wednesday. I'm excited to talk about this. For those that haven't been introduced to you before, Jimmy, tell me how this all began for you.
Well, first of all, I'm really excited about this, Kara, and it's great to be on and starting this new segment. How it all started for me was way back. When I was a teenager, I'd wander into libraries, I'd find books on the power of the mind. I was just fascinated. I didn't really understand the whole concepts behind it, but I started trying out some things that they were suggesting in the books, and these magical things would start happening in my life, and I was like, wow, this is cool. It's almost like a Harry Potter moment type of thing. Mm-hmm. And as I continued on, I started playing in bands and kind of using these tools to manifest opportunities in my life. And then I found an ad in the back of a Rolling Stone magazine that said, double your income guaranteed through the power of hypnosis. Now, I'd heard the word, but I didn't understand the concept of that either. But I mailed away my $15, got a cassette tape back, and all it said was, listen to this program every single night, and within 2 weeks, I doubled my income. And from that point, I was totally hooked on the whole power of the mind, power of hypnosis, power of suggestion.
Now, that's what's so amazing about it. Now, take us through, for those that aren't aware, and we've talked about it before, but it's really interesting. What happens when you go into those different aspects of the mind, whether it's the conscious, the subconscious, or the unconscious? Take us through those. I know you've mentioned alpha, beta. You've mentioned different things before that most of us haven't been privy to that information.
Sure. Well, there's 4 stages of consciousness. You and I are right in beta right now. I mean, we're fully conscious. We're fully aware of what's going on. We're rationalizing. We're keeping track of time, that sort of thing. This next 3 stages of consciousness, then you go into alpha. Say if you're watching a movie, you're listening to music, you're out on the dance floor, the outside world starts to tune out, right? And the same thing is...
Okay, so you're focused on something that you're doing at the time.
You're focused on one individual thing, exactly. Same thing with driving. Now, the weird thing about driving is that technically you're focused on driving, but your subconscious mind takes you off to the Bahamas someplace, or, you're thinking about your daily problems, that sort of thing.
So is that what, that's your next one? Is that beta, or that's also
alpha.
Beta? Oh, that's alpha.
That's it. So there's beta when you're totally conscious.
Oh, beta's first. Okay.
Yes. And then alpha is the next stage, which is technically lower or higher depending on what you want to look at it as. And then
I'm sorry to interrupt.
Sure.
I'm just curious, like you mentioned the driving. Is that why we get from A to B and sometimes you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even remember the trip. I know I did everything well.
You pass right by your house, you're in the next block, and it's like, oh my goodness, I have to turn around. I totally missed my house.
Okay, interesting.
You're actually in a state of alpha consciousness as well as in a state of hypnosis, because hypnosis is the alpha, and the next stage, which is the theta stage of consciousness, which is a deep meditative stage. Now, that stage, that's when, if anybody's listening that has practiced meditation, deep yoga, something that you're really tuning everything else out, and your conscious mind is technically shut off at that point.
Oh,
that's the theta stage.
You know why this is kind of interesting to me? Because you hear about meditation, the importance of meditation, and in my head, it's just you getting quiet and relaxing. But no, you're actually putting yourself in this other state.
Yes.
Wow, interesting. Okay.
Yes, and you're going very, very deep to the point that, and there's what's called the observer self, and we can get into that later. We won't explain that right now. But technically, you basically shut the whole entire outside world out, and you're just existing in the inner world, which is the subconscious mind.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's really interesting. I did not make that association with different levels of consciousness when you're doing meditation or yoga or any of those kind of mental philosophies that we think about more Eastern.
Exactly.
Okay.
Reiki, massage, same thing.
Okay.
When I get a massage, I mean, I go right there. It's like everything's just gone and I'm in someplace else.
Okay.
Right? The 4th stage is what's called delta. which is when you're totally sound asleep. Your conscious mind is completely shut off. You're probably snoring. Your partner's elbowing you in the ribs, trying to wake you up.
I literally pushed Mark off the bed.
Pretty much. But those are the 4 stages of consciousness. Now, the cool thing about audio hypnosis programs, and this is why that first Increase Your Income program works so well for me, is because as you sleep, you're going in and out of basically almost all 4 stages of consciousness. For the people that can't sleep, I mean, they're going right back up to beta and going, oh my God, I can't sleep.
Yeah.
But you're still drifting back into alpha, theta, and right down to delta, and you're going up and down all the time. Now, when your conscious mind is shut off, your subconscious mind is wide open to suggestion, and basically, once your subconscious mind accepts a suggestion, it just believes it's real, and then therefore grabs onto it.
Wow, that's so fascinating. And it's funny because Mark has difficulty sleeping. And he went to one of your seminars, and it was the sleeping. I mean, his was more for, he was doing the finance thing and the money. And his business is 100% different now. But the best part about it, he said, his sleep hypnosis. And he said, I've downloaded several online. And then he had yours, and he was like, Jimmy's is my favorite out of all of them.
Great.
Yeah, and I thought, because I had told him you were going to be, I told him you were going to start to be a regular, and he was like, his is my favorite, which was kind of a really cool endorsement because he's very picky, and he, had received several from online or YouTube or whatever else you find them, and and he said that he's like, I'm out instantaneously, which is what a lot of people struggle with, is like shutting their brain off and just going out.
Yes, actually I got a nice little Facebook message this morning from a client who downloaded my Sleep Better Tonight program from MindPowerPrograms.com, and she said, I've been on medication for 4 years, I've cut it back in half, and I'm sleeping so much better, because up until the point that I downloaded your program, even the medication wasn't working anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, that's so interesting. So we have those 4 stages.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens when we are, engaged in having hypnosis? Like if I'm up on stage and I see that you're all over like North America doing this.
I had to hypnotize myself to get more energy to come back in here today. It's been a wild couple of days.
Yeah, you've been running all over, and I see people pass out on stage, which is another cool element of stuff that you do, and I know super fun. But that when we are hypnotized, that is when we're in that delta. Are we in delta, or are we floating?
No.
Okay.
Basically, I mean, you're passing in between the alpha and theta stages of consciousness.
Okay.
The ones that I keep in the show go right deeply into theta. And that's why you see them slumped over in the chair, because everything else has totally disappeared from their mind. They're right there enjoying it. I finished off a client session the other day. She finished off her program, and she goes, I just don't want to leave. Because I was like, okay, well, we're all wrapped up, and we're just having small chit chat at the end of the session. She goes, honestly, I just don't want to leave. And I said, why is that? She goes, that felt so good.
Yeah, no kidding.
It just was so relaxing.
So it's essentially when you do the MindPower Mastery segments, and you're getting into that subconscious, and you're reformulating or making suggestions in whatever direction they're hoping to go.
Well,
tell me how it happens.
Yes and no. It really depends, first of all, on what the client's coming in for, first of all, and what they usually think they're coming in for is usually not what they're coming in for.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Because as humans, for whatever reason, we've got approach avoidance, and whatever the deep issue is, we've put that so far on the back burner that we're not willing to admit it. And so we make up something like, well, I just can't lose weight, or I can't stop smoking, or, whatever. But usually there's a deeper level.
How do you discover that?
Well, here's the thing, is that when you tell your kids, go clean your room, right? And they look at you and go, no.
Oh,
I don't like that suggestion.
Watching us.
Yes, I don't like that idea. I refuse to accept that suggestion. But when you reframe it, it's like, it would be so great, we can go to the park, and it's, I know you really want to go to the park, right? And they go, yes. It's like, great. As soon as your room is cleaned, we're going to go. And they're all of a sudden taken off to their bedroom, and it's like, what a great idea. I'm going to clean my room, and then I'm going to go to the park, and I'm probably going to get ice cream afterwards, right? Okay. So when you flip that around for a client, once the human subconscious mind accepts an idea, then they grasp onto it.
Okay.
But consciously, if somebody tells you to do something, your first notion and reaction is to resist. Therefore, with the sessions that I do, I lead my clients into exploring their own solutions for their own problems in a way that's totally comfortable for them.
Okay, so give me an example of a client, real or fake,
Sure.
of how you would do that. Let's say I came in and I said, Jimmy, I have this last 10 pounds of baby weight. It's driving me crazy, you know?
Sure.
And I said that to you. I want it off, and
Sure.
that was my approach.
Well, and that would be a situation of, and we talked about this during our weight loss segment, is that there's two types of people that need to lose or want to lose weight, but there's two reasons why they're not at that time. One is simply bad habits, right? So it's basically re-motivating them. And the other one is like, I can't seem to lose weight. And then you begin to talk to them and let them open up. And you find out that they're under a great deal of stress. They're emotionally eating. They're eating to cover up deeper issues. So that's when I start guiding them in that new direction to allow them to be comfortable just to release that and let that go. And the cool thing is that when I lead them into those hypnosis sessions, I can watch them in the chair and see their mind go to work just by their facial expressions and explore new possibilities and find new solutions and be able to release whatever that stress and those issues are.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing. And I'm sure, as you said, sometimes we want to cover it up because we don't want to talk about what's really bothering us, or we're embarrassed, or we're uncomfortable, or it's an avoidance issue. And then sometimes it's probably not even having that awareness. Like maybe the person can't lose weight because they're never sleeping. They don't realize that it's about sleep, because when you don't sleep, you can't lose weight. Then you're under more stress. Then the cortisol hormones go and you gain weight. Like it's very cyclical, and maybe coming from who knows where.
And cyclical is the key word. And then it feels like you just can't get off the hamster wheel.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. Oh, we're going to continue on. It's our MindPower Mastery series with Jimmy Graham. And you can find him online, so you can actually follow along. He has a free download as well that you can check out more information. It's a powerful program. Just go to mindpowerprograms.com and click right on the front page. Get a picture of Jimmy, too, so you see. It's radio. They don't see you.
So you know you're on the right website.
Yeah. So, again, mindpowerprograms.com. And when we come back, we'll continue to talk about that, what people can expect when they download your program, and all the different elements and how it changes people's lives, just being able to connect with that subconscious at that other level. So, pretty interesting. We'll have more when we come back right here on the TKO Show. 152 here on the TKO Show with Caro. Thanks so much for joining me. This is the beginning of our MindPower Mastery series with Jimmy Graham, Mindset Success Coach. And we've been talking about kind of what it's all about, what hypnosis is all about, what mindset success is all about, and talking about the 4 different stages of consciousness and how essentially you kind of go in and you're like a brain surgeon. You just go in and kind of tweak everything going on in there.
Well, my mom always wanted me to be a doctor.
Oh, so. Yeah, perfect. You have met her expectations.
There we go.
We're talking about essentially a download. We'll talk about that as well. How everyone can kind of get started today, or write this down, or remember it for later if you can't get online right now. And just get on and start this program with us. And every week we come back, we'll talk about something different. It's mindpowerprograms.com. And tell us what to expect when we go to this site.
When you go to the site, there is a free download called the Manifest Success Method. And how I came up with that is that when I'm working with the clients, they would come to me and you know, for smoking or maybe a habit or an addiction or weight loss or whatever it is. And there always seem to be deeper issues going on underneath. And as we kept exploring that, it started to become kind of almost like a theme in a certain way. And I thought, you know what, the more I led my clients into really getting themselves grounded and balanced and reconnected with their own creator, whoever, whatever that is for them, the happier and more content and better results we achieved. Because I think a lot of people in this age of distraction, we forget who we are and why we're really supposed to be here.
You're really on a treadmill, like you're just going.
Oh, yes, yes. And the world is, I mean, is just pushing for you to do more, and to the point that we have no time to just sit back and just take a little bit of time to remember what we're here for and why we're here and who we really are.
And who we want to be, I guess.
And who we want to be as well. And that's what the Manifest Success Method helps you do. It's basically a 7-minute meditation. What you'll get is a download, a PDF, so you can just write out the 7 parts. It takes 7 minutes, and you just basically meditate 1 minute per section. And the very first section is embrace your purpose.
Now, I have a question.
Sure.
If you know, when you're saying meditate, maybe people don't know how to meditate. Like, if you just said to me, okay, meditate, I would be like looking at you sideways.
Well,
like,
and
okay,
I'm glad you brought that up, Kara, because a lot of people do get that kind of image. It's like, oh, meditate. I got to sit cross-legged on a floor and, go, om.
Say namaste. I'm not sure.
The best way to meditate, I mean, I've got a nice comfy chair in my living room / office, and I just sit there and just take a nice deep breath in through my nose, exhale through my mouth, close my eyes, and just let it all go.
And you don't think about anything, and because sometimes when you try not to think about something, then you think about things,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like if I said, don't think about the white elephant in the room, that's all you're thinking about.
Well, yes, exactly. And for those people that just say, oh, I can't shut my mind off, just take that maybe 5 minutes, sit in a chair, shut everything off, take a nice deep breath in through your nose, blow out through your mouth, and just let your mind run wild.
Okay.
Just go, okay, really? If you're going to control me, then go. Let's have at it. And you'll find that probably within about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, you'll run out of steam.
Okay.
You will. And all this stuff that you've been thinking about and worrying about will seem like nothing because you've brought it to the surface. You can actually observe it and go, what the heck was I thinking about that for? And why was I so worried about this? This means nothing.
Okay.
This means nothing. And you can just let it go.
Right.
And just let it go.
Okay. And so we're going to sit there and just relax, take that deep breath in and out, and get into a kind of meditative state.
Yep.
And then from that point forward,
yes,
you're listening.
Yes. And basically, well, on the free download is basically just a PDF. So basically what you would do is that the first section is just to embrace your purpose. So you just take a minute to just ask yourself, why am I here? And most people will go, I have no idea.
Yeah,
I have no idea. All I'm doing, the only reason I think I'm here right now is just to make a paycheck to support my family because that's all the time I have, in my day. But that's truly not why we're here. We're here for a bigger purpose. And I truly believe that everybody has a bigger purpose in life. So, I mean, the first thing that I suggest is that if somebody comes up and says, I have no idea why I'm here, how about just just become better? Take what you've got and just go, I'm just here to make this better.
Okay, be the best version of yourself.
And just let your mind just explore possibilities on how, wherever you're at, how you can improve it, even in 1%, 1 iota, because that 1% will start compounding as it goes.
Interesting. And so then when everyone's done it, it's probably a mindset shift, right? You start thinking things in a different way and be more focused on the things that maybe where you want to go or what you want to be about. Yes,
and the power of the imagination, the power of the subconscious mind is that it's virtual. It's the ultimate virtual reality. You can create whatever you want, because there's no rules in your subconscious mind, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, there's no fear to be able to just go, you know what? Yeah, I'd love to be on an island. So I can just imagine it, and I'm there.
Right.
Right?
Interesting. Again, you can download yours. Go to mindpowerprograms.com. This is the first of a series we're going to do every single week, and we're going to address different issues and different topics. So interesting stuff. Again, it's Jimmy Graham joining me, Mindset Success Coach. It's mindpowerprograms.com, and it's the MindPower Mastery Series that we're going to have right here on the TKO Show. Thanks so much for being with me, Jimmy. I look forward to seeing you next week. We'll all try this week. We'll all go through this and read it.
I suggest everybody download it, grab a copy, and we can talk about it next week as well.
Awesome. I love it. Again, Jimmy Graham, Mindset Success Coach, right here on the TKO Show.